Hey guys, it's Tommeh, and welcome to another video. I'm just gonna get right to the point. As you guys know, and might have participated in, the video that I posted yesterday about Anthony being banned for stealing a building, quote unquote, got a ton of buzz. And a lot of people responded to it, a lot of people gave their opinions, a lot of people had things to say. It made it on the Reddit. Joey responded to it. It got about 300 comments and, like 1,500 views in the first 12 hours. And needless to say, it caused a lot of controversy over the banning system and also infractions and how all of this works, and also what is considered a rude action in TTR. So anyway, I just felt like I should probably make a follow-up video just to kind of clarify some thoughts and also answer maybe some questions that some people in the comments had, because there were a lot of differing opinions in the comments. So I'm just gonna get right to it. As you guys all know, Anthony, my friend Dr. Popcorn McBurger, was banned on 2 of his accounts and warned on another through email for stealing a building. Now, while on the surface it looks like this was only caused by him stealing a building, a lot of people are claiming it is because he has had past infractions, or in other words, he's done stuff in the past that he didn't even know that he was doing wrong, and as a result of that, apparently he's getting punished extremely harshly just because of one thing that he actually got called out on. So, here's my take on the infraction system, because what Joey said on the Reddit, and what a lot of people are trying to preach in the comment section, is that people get like these invisible infractions that they don't even know about until apparently it's too late. Now, honestly, like, if Anthony had so many infractions, because there were at least 20 comments, I'm not going to name names, but there was one person who literally put the same comments about 15 times about how Anthony must have had so many infractions and that's why he was banned. So I mean, it's just like, the problem with this quote-unquote infraction system is if someone, like, if these infractions apparently pile up over time and a person doesn't even know about it, then how are they supposed to like change their behavior or attempt to like do something differently in order to not get banned? Because, like, let me tell you something about Anthony. He has not had any mod action. He has not been talked to by any mods. He has not gotten any visible warnings. Nothing has happened to any of his accounts in the past year and a half. Now, he did get like some warnings and infractions like a very long time ago because he used to screw around a lot more. But honestly, he's like maintained a really low profile for the past year and a half and hasn't done anything, as far as I know, that could be considered like ban-worthy or given a warning for. And like, as evidence of this, he has never been talked to by a mod. He has never had there's never been any evidence that he has done something wrong. So the problem is, if Joey is saying, and if a lot of other people are saying, that all the past infractions and all the things that he's done in the past have led up to this week-long ban out of nowhere, then how was he supposed to know about this? Where, like, who was there to say, like, oh, you've been screwing up a lot, you deserve to be banned, and we're just not even going to tell you about it, we're just going to ban you, and, that's that. Like, for example, just to give a real-life analogy, if you have been driving for, say, 2 years or so, like, if you've been just driving your car around the road, haven't ever gotten a speeding ticket, have never been pulled over, no problems at all, and all of a sudden you get pulled over and you get arrested, or you get given a $1,000 speeding ticket, and it's not because, say you were going only 10 over the speed limit, it's not because you were doing something extremely wrong in the moment, but what if they said that it's because, oh, we've seen you speeding so many times in the past that we just decided to give you this massive ticket now just to cover all those experiences, which basically could be considered like the infractions in this case. Now, that is simply not fair, because like, if someone doesn't know that they're doing something wrong or has no like idea that what they're doing like is gonna hurt them in the long run, then why would you punish them so severely for something like that? Like, for example, another situation, say Anthony or any other toon that got punished for this, say they were like a noob or new to the game, didn't even have Speed Chat Plus. What if they just had Speed Chat, and there was a group of toons outside a building, and they went in the building, say it was Jay's friends, and they went in the building, didn't even know they were doing anything wrong, they were just trying to complete a building, going in there, and Jay reports them and gets them banned. And now they're looking at a 2-week long ban for what they think is absolutely no reason. Now, to go back to the speeding example, like, yes, I do understand that people should know that speeding is wrong, but if you've ever driven a car before, you should know that going 10 miles over the speed limit is not going to hurt you or get you a ticket unless you're like in a 15 or 25 mile an hour zone. What I'm trying to say with that point is that, like, if you don't know that what you're doing is overtly wrong, and if you're not like doing something serious, you shouldn't get a serious punishment. You shouldn't just have to be like revealed at that moment, oh, you screwed up this many times and we never told you about it, but that's your fault because you should have known you were doing something wrong, and as a result of this, we are going to, you know, give you a harsher punishment. Like, that shouldn't work that way. I mean, even in the past, and I can say this like because this has happened to me, honestly, I've had talkings to by mods before. I have served a 1-month ban before. But the thing is, after I get talked to by mods, I don't do what I did wrong again just because I'm not gonna risk getting a ban or something like that. Like, honestly, if these infractions actually exist, which I don't even know if they do, because like for all we know, this could literally just be an excuse by the TTR staff, like, to justify this ban, which is clearly just unfounded and shouldn't even be a thing. Like, if these infractions actually do exist, why does no one know about them, and why is it just like a blind process? Like, even if a mod, I understand that mods can't, like they're human too, and there's a lot of players on Toontown Rewritten, and I understand that the mods can't go through every single like small dispute and find something wrong with that. But still, like, if you get in an infraction, or if something happens like that, why don't you know about it? Like, why couldn't the mods just shoot you a message and just be like, hey, what you're doing isn't right, you should probably stop that, or else, you know, you might get punished, or bad things might happen. Because honestly, if I got sent that message, I would just be like, alright, no problem, I'll stop what I'm doing, and I'll be more careful. Because, like, that's the way that you get a message across. You don't just ban someone and give them a 2-week long ban for something like this and expect them to just know why and like have an idea of like what they were doing was wrong. Because like I said, if a noob did this, if someone who was inexperienced in the game had the same situation, they wouldn't even know what to think, because like if they're getting punished for something that they didn't even know was wrong and like is a debatable topic in the community, then why are they going to want to play this game if they feel like they could just get attacked at any moment, basically? So that's what I think about that. And a little furthermore on the whole stealing thing. Here, my official stance on stealing is, look, I see that a lot of people think it's rude and that it's not a great thing to do, and I can agree with that. Like, it's not fun to be standing outside a building and have someone walk in with their friends or just alone and try to join. Like, say you're trying to solo, well, you guys know how it goes. Basically, it's not fun to have someone do that to you. But then again, it shouldn't be a bannable offense, and while it can be considered rude, like a bunch of things in this game can be considered rude, but no one ever gets banned for them. For example, like if you're training in the VP, wouldn't people consider that rude? Just because you're trying to put, it's the same situation, you're trying to put your own personal gain in front of the needs of the rest of the group. And while everyone else in the group has the opportunity to complete the VP with you, just like some other people, like if you quote-unquote steal their building, would have the opportunity to take it with you, like everyone gets annoyed by it, and like no one likes seeing that. Hey, Good shot, by the way. Like, no one, I don't think anyone has ever been banned. I don't think anyone's ever been banned for stealing a building, nor do I think anyone's ever been banned for training in a VP. Just because, like, people in the community accept that it happens, but who's really going to, like, report or try to get someone banned for this? Like, honestly, what I think Jay did, and what I think a lot of people do, is kind of just like the approach where they're like, alright, you know, this happened to me, I don't really care, but I'm just going to go ahead and report them anyway because, you know, there's a report button and there's mods out there, and maybe it'll make me feel just a little bit better if I could just get someone banned for it. Like, here's the thing. And oh, wait, let me get into another point. So another thing about this Jay guy, I don't know him. A lot of his friends commented on the past video saying kind of the same old spiel the whole time. They were saying like, oh, Jay's a really great guy, and that Anthony was banned because he had so many infractions, and like when people were like calling out Jay for, or like roasting him, I guess, they were saying, or defending him and saying like, oh, he's such a nice guy, he's so smart, he's so funny, etc., etc. Like, here's my take on the whole thing. I'm not gonna bash the guy, I'm not gonna bash anyone, just because, look, I don't know the guy, but in the same respect, like, his friends were basically saying in the comment section, and one of them, I'm not gonna name names, said numerous times, I said this earlier in the video, that the fact that Anthony had so many infractions caused him to get banned. Like, honestly, as much as we don't know this Jay guy, you really don't know Anthony or, like, his infraction history. Like, I'm here to say, and I said this earlier in the video, I'm just here to say that he literally has not had any, like, mod activity or any talking tos, warnings, bans, etc. in the past year and a half. So, like, if you don't know the guy, you can't really say anything about him. Like, that's pretty hypocritical because most of these people were saying, like, oh, you don't know our friend Jay, so you can't say anything about him. So that's a little on that. And not to mention, here's a big part about this that really makes me scratch my head and makes me wonder if the TTR modding system is biased or not. Because, honestly, if it wasn't for this fact that I'm about to say, that a lot of people pointed out, like, this would be a lot more, this wouldn't be as controversial or questionable as it is. So basically, what I'm about to say is that this Jay guy is apparently a member of TTR staff. Someone said he was like a community manager or something like that. And while I do understand that he does not personally have the ability to ban people, if he's on TTR staff, he obviously has connections to the TTR mods and has a lot more direct access than a normal person would. So, like, for example, or I don't even have an example, I was just gonna say, if he, basically, I'm sure that if he were to just put in a report or say to one of the mods or one of his friends, like, hey, I don't like this guy, you should ban him, like, you should check out what he's doing, then, like, whether it's just or not, that ban is, or that report is probably gonna get immediate attention and also maybe be considered in a harsher light, because, like, I don't know any of the TTR mods personally, I don't know much about them, but I feel like they would side with a fellow staff member, like, right off the bat, instead of just turning it away. And honestly, I can't imagine it's too hard for a mod to just go ahead and ban someone and go on his way. Like, keep in mind that the people running this are young adults, essentially. Like, I assume the average age of the TTR staff is around 20. I mean, I don't know that as a fact, but if I had to guess, that would be it. Meanwhile, like, there were actually people, when there was TTO, there were actually people who were hired to do this kind of shit, and, like, they were adults. They actually took in consideration a lot of these things and followed a lot more concrete rules instead of just saying, oh, this is rude activity, like, let's slap this guy with a ban. So, I mean, it's just like, if the discretion of these bans comes up to what is considered rude and what someone does, like, with that term, it's really difficult to kind of pin down exactly what someone is doing wrong or if someone is doing something wrong. Just because if you just say someone's doing something rude, well, like I said earlier, with the training thing, that could encompass numerous different situations. And there's probably endless possibilities of how something could be considered rude. It's just like, you can't, and Joey said this in the Reddit post, like, I understand you can't make a rule for everything, and life shouldn't be about telling people everything that they shouldn't do. Like, people should have a little more common sense, but the problem is, like, and I said this in another comment, if Anthony was greening and he got banned for it, then I wouldn't argue against that. Like, I might be pissed because I wouldn't want Anthony to get banned, but I wouldn't argue against that because, like, greening is a named offense in the TTR terms of service, and, like, everyone in this game knows that, like, whether they agree with it or not, everyone in this game knows that you can get banned for greening. So if that were the case, then I wouldn't fight it. I would just say, all right, Anthony, like, you got caught, you screwed up. There's nothing that anyone can do about it. And I wouldn't bitch the community. Like, I'm trying to give the vibe, I'm trying to give a very reasonable vibe in, like, this situation, just because I'm not, like, I know that this is the second, or yesterday was the second time I posted a video about, like, getting banned, one of my friends getting banned for, like, a certain reason, but the only reason why I'm posting those videos is just because they're ridiculous reasons. Like, the first time, he got banned for saying "you stink" a number of times, which none of us even thought was possible. Like, you can consider it spam, you can call it whatever you want, but still, like, you're saying a speed chat phrase. Like, that's why I posted that video. And then the one yesterday, like, that's so debatable. There's no, like, I posted it because there's so many differing opinions on the subject, and personally it just seems ridiculous that someone would actually get a ban for something like that. And like I said, if he, like, say if Rocky or Anthony or one of my other friends gets banned for greening or for using, like, a game enhancer or hacking, like, I'm not gonna post a video and just be like, oh, they got banned for that, the TTR mods are bad, like, they shouldn't be on staff. Like, no, I'm not gonna post a video about that because, like, they got banned for an actual, like, documented reason. There's no reason for me to post a video on something that has literally no argument involved, like, because you can't argue against a ban for hacking. I mean, hacking is clearly stated in the terms of service as being a bannable offense. So that's, am I gonna get it? What? Oh, okay. Thanks, glitch. But yeah, so I'm not trying to just, like, bitch at the mods constantly. It's not my intention to just constantly bring them down. It's just that in situations like this, where something ridiculous and completely, like, subject to opinion happens, that's why I'll post a video like this. So it's just kind of ridiculous when something like this happens because, you know, you really, and even considering that this J guy was on the TTR staff, like, it really makes you think, is the modding of this game actually, like, is it actually biased, or is it just a coincidence that this happened? Because honestly, no matter how many times Joey says, like, Anthony had a bunch of infractions, there's no way that he would have known about it, and that's an indisputable fact. You can't just straight up say, like, oh, you should have known that you were doing so many things wrong in the past, so that's why you got this ban, like, and then shrug your shoulders. You just can't see that coming, and there's no reason why you should have to anticipate a ban just because you, like, apparently you've been doing so many things wrong or so many rude things in the past. Like, you shouldn't get punished unless you know about it. I just think it's bullshit that he got banned for something like this, because apparently this was the last strike in a long line of many strikes, or, you know, what they put exactly in, or what Joey put exactly in the Reddit post is, I'm not going to put it on the screen or anything, I'm just going to try to get it from memory, but he said something along the lines of, whenever, like, we get a report about something like this, we'll get our mods to kind of take a look at the guy and see if he's done anything in the past, and make a judgment call based on that. Like, I can sort of understand where you're coming from that, like, because I understand that the mods can't follow every single report that happens, and that there's not enough of them, and they don't have enough time to check out every single situation. But the problem is, like, why not just give someone a warning if they've done something like that? Like, past infractions aside, why not just say, like, kick them from the game, or say in-game, you know, like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. That's not cool. If you do this again, then you might get punished for it. You shouldn't just slap a week or a 2-week long ban out of nowhere and just been like, oh, like, this is for everything you've done. That makes no sense. Like, personally, if I was in Anthony's shoes and I just got a warning, which one of his tunes did, his account, Dr. Popcorn McBurger 3, did only get an email warning and a kick from the game when it happened, but it's just like, that's like, I don't exactly have a problem with that. I mean, it's a shame that he gets a strike on his account, and like, it shouldn't have to be that way, just because honestly this isn't even a ban-worthy offense at all. I don't even see it as an offense. But still, just like, if this is considered bad, or if someone is doing something wrong in Toontown, why not just warn them and say that? Because like I said, Anthony hadn't had any warnings or bans or he has never been talked to by a mod in the past year and a half. So he would never have known that he was in hot water or that he was on his final strike. So I don't even know if I'm repeating myself at this point, but what I'm basically trying to say is that if you've done something wrong, then let them know, but don't ban them for a week or 2 weeks just because of it. It's just not right. So anyway, I'm just going to end the video off here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.